triangle, I would believe the half based on size. Is your wall a triangle? So we don't need the half. So what's the formula? Base 1 plus base 2 is actually for that shape that has different bases on a trapezoid. This is actually a parallelogram. So we really just need this and this to be able to paint your entire wall. So give me that one more time. What is this? What is this? Awesome. Formula is base times height. Beautiful. All right. Let's talk about today's lesson. Today we are going to solve area equations. And before we officially get started, I want us to do a little warm-up exercise. So here's what I want us to do. On page 95, I want us to find what half of 10 and a half would be. You can do this mentally using a real-world situation. Or you can actually divide it in your notebook on page 95. Whatever you choose to do, I want you to write your answer on page 95. Once you have it, you may take off. And then I am going to say, yay! Help me check. And you're going to celebrate those people who got it right. Or you're going to help them if they got it wrong. If you got it wrong, I'm going to say, try again. Yay, fantastic. Help me check. Beautiful job. Help me check. Beautiful job. Help me check.
5.25, which would then go into 550, which is technically a half. Huh? Am I correct? Sure. Am I correct? I think so. Yeah.
The goal is that 100% of us take off. So help those people who need your help.
Yes,
If you had $10.50, I'm going to say, hey, let's split it between you and me. You get half, I get half. Okay. You would divide by what?
Get everything right.
Or divide by 2, right? Because it's 2 people. And 0.502.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There we go. That's a different way. Alright guys, thank you for ensuring that 100% of us got this right. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Thank you. Alright, I want everyone to touch down because I really want to explore the beauty of what just happened here. I walked around and I noticed at least 3 different ways that you guys solved this. Now somebody like Haley did this. Haley kind of thought about this in a real world situation. She thought about it like, I got $10.50, I'm going to split half with Jackson. Jackson gets half, I get half. So half of $10.50 would be. Then I saw some of you do this. So you have your 10 and a half, which is the total that you're dividing, by 2, because if you get half and I get half, that's dividing by 2. So you still get your $5 and 25 hundredths that way. I saw somebody do this a different way. Nick, how'd you do it?
I did 10.5 times 0.5.
I hadn't thought about doing it that way. then 5 times 1.
It's 5.
And now we worry about that decimal. That was neat.
I was doing that.
Wow, that was neat.
I don't know how.
I like it. And then I walked over and kind of gave you mine. I'm sorry. But that just proves there are many different ways of solving, especially in math, a question. And there is no wrong way. These are all correct ways on finding them.
There's also another way called the ratio way.
The ratio way, like half of this way, and then simplify it. This one, this 5.25. In today's lesson, guys, we're going to solve area equations. So I want you guys to think about last week. And last week we learned about how to find area, right? Area of what? Quadrilaterals, trapezoids, triangles, parallelograms, right? So in today's lesson, I'm not going to have you guys find the area. Today's lesson is called solving area equations. I want you guys to think about what today's lesson might look like. I want you to predict what today's lesson might look like. And then you're going to share that with your team. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure everybody shares something, a prediction of what you think. You're brainstorming. What do you think today's lesson is going to look like? And then when your team is done, you may take off. Questions on what we're doing? All right, share with your team. What's today's lesson about? We're going to talk about that. Wait, did we give number 1 a chance?
I think it's going to be about like solving like squares, like not squares, but like just way
That's technically it. Okay. All right, everybody touchdown. So I need one representative from each team. And they're going to stand up and they're going to talk about what they like the most that their team shared. All right, so you can take off. Team representatives, take off. Okay. What is our lesson going to be about today? Possibly.
Give us the numbers, like the base and the height and the area, and then we turn it into an equation.
So we're plugging in values for an equation. I like it.
What I thought was that, so you give us the area, and you give us either the base or the height, and we have to find out the unknown number.
You guys are so brilliant. Genius is what I say. What else you got?
We're solving equations with area.
Let's refer back to this one, because that was a good one, but this was not much better. Anybody else want to share? Aaron? Did you hear what Nick said? And what Eileen said? And even what Chad said. What did Chad say? Of all the ones he could have heard, he heard Chad's. What did Chad say? Did you hear a little bit of what Nick said? No? Let me repeat what Nick said. Can somebody else repeat what Nick said?
I can.
No, I don't believe that to be true.
You give us the area and either the base or the height, and we have to find the missing.
Oh no.
That up. Girl! height and you find the area, I am giving you the area, one of the dimensions or sides, and then you guys have to figure out the other side.
Oh,
Okay.
I know how we do it.
Now, I want to talk about this for a second. Preview lessons and questions. Because as I walked around and I listened to you guys sharing what your predictions were going to be, some of you said, I already looked at the lesson, so I already previewed and I kind of know what the lesson's going to be about. That is phenomenal. I also heard some of you say, I did one of the homework assignments already, so I kind of know and I practiced it a little bit, so I kind of know what the lesson's going to be about. That is what makes you guys so smart. And that is what keeps you guys accelerated. So congratulations to you guys. She did. No, but that's good because that was a wonderful prediction. But she did because she's already done her homework. That's what I was referring to. All right. Here's what I want you guys to do. This question is my model question. So I'm going to model this for you. I want you guys to draw a pennant on your page 95. And those of you, that's the exact reaction that I was looking for. Oh, what?
Oh, it's like a flag? Triangle.
See, I know you guys are going to say, what? It is, I know Mrs. Walker, somebody in my first period told me Mrs. Walker has one in her room. It is one of those things that you get at games, typically like you see it in high schools. It's a little flag, right? It's triangular in shape. Sometimes it's super big. And it has like it shows team spirit. So it has like your favorite team name on there. So I'm going to put BAMS. You can put whatever team you want. Oh, I got it. So this is a pennant, and I am going to plug in the information that's given. Now this shape is what? It's a triangle. So how do we find the area of a triangle?
The height times base.
Okay, so half base times height. Now, what information do they give me? Because in last week's lesson, we were given the base, we were given the height, and we had to find the area. In this week's lesson, they give me the area and they give me one of the sides.
Yeah, I thought it was half the.
It is half base times height. I don't know.
Basically, you just divide.
We're looking so basically, we are going to. So, what is the area here? 2.25. So, let's plug that in. 2.25. And they give us the base.
So.
And they don't give us the height. We don't know what the height is. That's what we have to figure out. It's x. In this case, we'll leave it h, but he is our variable. We're solving for that variable, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of 1.5. So on page 95, I want you guys to go off to the side, and I want you to take your 1.5, and I want you to divide that by 2. Just like what we did with our 10.5. So what are we getting?
You get 0.75.
I agree. Now, when we did half of 1.5, we get 75/100 h equals the area. This equation right here takes us back to a lesson that we did on isolating the variable. Any suggestions on how we can isolate that variable and solve for h? So somebody other than Nick and Haley need to strut their stuff. You know what? Let me alleviate this for you a little bit. I want you to have a team discussion on how we can isolate that variable. Go. I'm in some trouble.
So it's going to do 0.75 divided by 0.75, which is half of that. Then 0.75 goes into 2.25 3 times. So 3.
So right now what's happening?
So I'm pretty sure that the height would be 3. So I'm just gonna put height.
Get emotional.
Because we get left with the h. And
So how do you undo? I'll multiply.
so h equals 3. That's right, is it?
But how would that be possible?
If we have something like 2h equals 6. 2h equals 6. What's h?
I think we should divide because you want to get a larger number. So
What equals 6? You got it.
No idea.
All right. We're back. That means I can call on absolutely anyone here, and you should be able to answer this question. I am going to ask that Eileen choose someone in this room to answer this question.
Choose Aaron.
All right, Aaron, you got this. Right now, what's happening to 7,500s and h? They're being what? Multiplied. Because there's your coefficient, there's your variable. How do we undo that? What's the inverse operation of that? Divide. What we do to one side of the equation, we do to the other side of the equation. This is something we learned over in our Equations and Inequalities Unit 5. Suggestions on how we're going to divide this 2.25 and 0.75. Johnny, who goes on the inside?
175. It's 2.25.
The numerator naps inside. The denominator is the dog, he goes outside. Taking us back to another previous lesson. What do we know about when the divisor is a decimal? Plain. Gotta make them a whole number. What I do to the divisor, I better do to the dividend. Beautiful. Or numerator. Beautiful. So 75 goes into 225 exactly 3 times. 3 times. My height is 3, what is that, feet?
Yeah.
Now, here we would not say feet squared because last week we talked about how it was squared because we were looking for area. Because we're only looking for the side or the one dimension, it's only feet. That's it. Okie dokie? All right, questions?
So first we would do, so the height, so area equals base times the height, and the base So if we do that,
The height.
we can add 24. No, remember, you have to have the base. Would we have the base?
Yeah, so it'd be 6 feet.
Nick is asking a really good question.
So we then.
Do you think it matters, Nick?
To isolate the base.
Yes.
Wait, no.
24 divided by 3.
Yeah, you have to divide 24 by 3.
No.
Yes, because you have to half the height.
What do you mean 4?
This is a triangle. down. We just go. We just I will say this, Blaine. I'm going to give you an opportunity to finish, I promise. I will say this is a good time for us to talk about going back to our notes and kind of revising things should we need to. Feet. Because if your answer is 4, and you know what? If your answer was 4 before I spoke to you, and if your answer is 4, I want you to take off. Honest.
Like before you spoke?
Yes. And then I want you to touch down. If your answer is 8 feet, I want you to take off.
It's inches.
Or inches, sorry. Touchdown. If your answer is undecided or you did not get to complete it, you may take off, and that's okay too, because that covers 100% of us, and that's okay. All right, touchdown. Let me tell you guys this. You know how I feel about this. As long as we go back and we revise the mistake that we made and fix it. So let me ask Josiah this. Josiah, this is a triangle, yes? So what is the formula to find the area of a triangle?
Area equals base times height, half.
Good. So base times height divided by 2. Same thing as half base times height, right? Okay. What did they give us?
What's the height in the area?
What's the area?
24 inches.
24. Half base times, and what was the height?
6 inches.
Now we can't do half of B because we don't know what it is. But can we do half of 6?
Yeah.
What property says we can do that? We can switch the order and it doesn't change the price. I heard it. I heard it.
Associative.
Associative would be with the grouping. What's the other one that just has 2 of them? Commutative. Good. Commutative property says, you know what? If I don't have a B, then I probably could do half of 6. What's half of 6? 3. 3B equals 24. Now somebody like Blaine is sitting there going, 3 times what is 24? 8. And somebody like Jackson might go ahead and follow through and solve this area equation and say divide by 3. In this case, B equals 8. Is it inches?
Yes. 3 and 6 over 2. No.
That wouldn't work because proportion says this better be 1 and this better be equivalent to 24.
Total would be 8.
I like that. Mess that up because we're practicing. You probably did half 2 times. So you probably did half of 8, which gave you the 4.
Nope, that would still be right.
Oh, you did base times height instead of a triangle. Oh, okay.
Wait.
But this was a triangle. So if you use the wrong formula, you're not going to be able to solve that area equation.
So,
And by the way, on my next slide, before you or your partner say, what's that formula again? Please refer back to your notes.
I have it.
Should you need them, some of you might not. Please say good morning to your face partner. If you need to get on up, then do that. Here is your area equation. Take off when you're done. Easy. Wait.
It's 44 points. So base 1 plus base 2, and then you half the height. And then yeah. So you always have to do it.
44.
Okay, right. So we know that the area.
And then we do base 1 time plus base. No, we already know base 1 base. Wait, it would be 43, 4.3 plus 10.5.
If you write the formula and then plug the stuff in, it'll be
So we can do order box. On this, it would be 14.
We know each other, but
Height.
I am going to let you continue working with your face partner, I promise. But I feel like this is a good time to interject the following. All of you know the formula. Write it. It's going to help you if you write it instead of trying to come up with all these different ways in your head if you're not plugging it into the formula. If you plug it into the formula, it's going to make a lot more sense, I promise. All right, add it.
Okay. 14.7.
But if we have $14.80, oh, let me see. Oh, because when you line up the decimals, when you add them, you have to line up the decimals. So this one is 14.8. The only time you should overlay that is if you're multiplying. Yeah, you're adding. So that should be 14.7.
So you got 8. 14.8.
Which one is the width?
14.8.
Multiplied by.
We got our answer.
I mean 14.
That's not the answer, but that's part. That's what you're going to need partly to get to the answer.
Multiply.
You have to divide that by the area.
And you
So
can
the area
multiply.
divided
Let's
by that.
think.
Because you guys got
What do you
that
want
after
to try
you did
first?
half of your bases put together, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try to multiply.
I like your idea.
Half of the bases might be
And the way you should really be thinking about it is you have 7 point something and then you put it. So what number we multiply by 7 will get you real close to
multiplied by height. So 44 divided by 7.4. We have to bring over the decimal. So 74 goes into 40.
So I think you have to do half of
Wait, wouldn't it be 5? Just 5 or would it be 5?
5.25.
We don't know the height, right? So far when you added your bases together, you got 14.8, sure? So now you just have half the height times base 1 plus base 2. So can you do half of 14.8 since you don't know what h is? Okay, so let's do half of 14.8, and then that will be what we divide the area by to solve for h. So I say let's take care of the half. Yes, did your partner get that?
And then I
Nice job. Make sure
multiplied
you put your, what is that,
7.4
meters?
meters times 6, and I got the total
meters.
44.4 meters. But since you have to half the height, I had to half the height. So the height is 6, right? So then it would be 14.8.
Let's go.
It's not square. It's meters.
No, it's not.
One half the height times base 1 plus base 2. They give us the area is 44.5. They don't give us the height and they give us the bases. Right? So we can add the bases, so that gives us 14.8. You know we can't do that because we don't know that.
If you do 74 times 6, so I think it's 444, which is dividing by. So maybe you have to have.
All right, I need everybody to touch down.
Can't multiply decimals.
All right, Kat, what is the formula to find the area of a trapezoid?
Area equals half the height times base 1 plus base 2.
All right, so Miss Brooke, T, what are the bases? And what was the area? We can't do half of H, but we could do half of whatever this is when we add it together. What is that? 14.8. What is half of 14.8? 7.4 H. Last step, how do we isolate this variable? We divide. By what? So we move it over to make it a whole number. Aiden, can you share your strategy with us, please?
Oh, well, I multiplied 7.4 by 6
Why?
because, well, I just thought of this. 6 times 4, that could give you 24, and since there's a 4 in the end of the number, I think, well, that might be a good place to start. So then I multiplied it, and I ended up getting 44.
So you got exactly that. Let me tell you guys, that strategy that he used, I love it. You're gonna have these multi-digit numbers. Think about it. 7 times what is gonna get you close to 44? 6. And if he tried it, it gave us exactly 44.4. Give yourselves a round of applause.